The plane that's been all over TV for the last 3 weeks.
Which one? The plane.
Yeah, what plane?
What I learned from watching all the coverage of this is that we sure put a lot of shit in the ocean. Yeah. And I feel like the plane is the least important thing that we could pull out of the ocean. And I think it's very interesting that every time they thought they found the plane because they saw something floating in the ocean, it was just some shit that people had thrown in the ocean. And, you know, the ocean, we crawled out of it. We need it to live. It's 70% of the world's surface, and we've turned it into a porta potty, and we're killing it, and it's going to kill us.
Yeah.
If we don't fix this.
You know, I'm a dad 2 times over now, and a basic fundamental principle is my household is if my daughter has something, she has to throw it out and clean it up after herself. How the fuck is it possible for countries will not take responsibility for this garbage at all? And there is a garbage patch the size of Texas in the Pacific.
Of all plastic.
Of all plastic.
Yeah. Not biodegradable.
And everybody's like, well, it's not our problem. But it is our problem. Every child is going to be affected by this garbage being consumed by fish, which we then consume.
I mean, between the radiation from Fukushima, between the oil slicks, which they also saw when they were looking for the plane, and it turned out, oh, it's just a regular oil slick, don't worry about that. The fact that 85% of the world's fisheries, the fishing areas, are either collapsed or on the verge of collapse. We're just not going to have an ocean anymore. I don't know if we can live without an ocean.
That's pretty bad.
No.
I mean, I lived in San Francisco for 15 years, and progressives aren't perfect, but at least in San Francisco, there's like 4 garbage cans that you have to have in your house to sort the trash. One for plastic, one for paper, there's compost and landfill. And so we're trying to figure it out. Whereas I go to Alabama to visit my dad, there's 1 garbage can. And I feel like until the country realizes we have to have like 6 or 7 garbage cans if we want to protect the world for our children.
Yeah, it's an educational. I mean, there's more plastic produced and consumed in the first 10 years of this century than the entire last century combined.
Is that right?
Yeah, and so that's what's out there. I mean, you're right. It's the size of Texas and the North Pacific. You could sail through it, though, and you wouldn't necessarily see it because it's that all different
I think
depths of the
people have always thought, you know, the ocean, it's so big. How could we possibly... Yes, we can.
Yeah. Well, the tsunami, there's 10,000 tons of stuff that swept into the ocean from the Japanese tsunami in 2011.
But the issue is we actually pollute as much as the tsunami all the time. You know, I mean, everyone talks about the tsunami and other things, but that's a once-in-a-lifetime event, hopefully. We do that daily, and that's the amount of garbage we're putting in there. And the thing that people don't realize is that we actually benefit a lot from economically, from the beaches, etc. And when this crap gets on the beach, we lose money from it.
Okay, thank you, panel. Got to go to...